Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler V series reviews I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie, sure could use a nice refreshing beverage this early in the morning. So hopefully this is delicious. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing today? Boom! It's my Grimm shirt. You see, it's Grimm. Two M's. Two M's for all that candy-coated deliciousness. What the fuck is Grimm? Grimm are a sort of horrorcore industrial rap metal group. I became aware of them earlier well, I can't say that anymore. I almost flubbed because we are in 2024 now. Earlier in 2023, they were opening up for a band that I was there to see. I'd actually not heard of them before, despite them being part of the local scene. And I really enjoyed their set, thought they were really fucking cool. After, that whole thing, I bought some merch, I took some videos, I did a whole thing. And then, I was actually fortunate enough, they ended up performing again with another band that I wanted to see just a little bit after that. And again, super great performers, really liked their stuff. Again, I did take videos of both performances. If you want to check those out, I'm just saying, those videos are available on my channel as well. Or, if you really want to check out their stuff, I'll point you in the right direction. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Well, as I said, it is a morning beverage because we're headed back to, boom, Brewpoint Coffee. Oh, God, the sun. Brewpoint Coffee, specifically the Elmhurst location. Can we get a thing? Maybe? I don't know, man. Sure. Brewpoint Coffee, it's even got to think, this cup is more than coffee. Our mission is to build an equitable and inclusive world through our business ecosystem. Learn more about our story and products, Brewpoint Coffee. All that good stuff. I reviewed a couple of things from Brewpoint Coffee maybe about a month ago. I had their peppermint mocha, and then I also had their what was it? Their like warm flannel chai, I think, which were part of like their winter sort of holiday menu. This is as well. What is this? This is their cozy Coquito, and I had to look up how to pronounce that. With $6.25 for a large. It consists of house-made syrup made with coconut and cream, maple syrup, a mix of spices, and espresso, and then it comes with your choice of milk. I don't know if they didn't ask me my choice of milk, or if they did and my shit hearing just didn't register it, so that's going to be interesting, because I definitely didn't tell them why. I would have said whole milk, and I actually looked up like what a coquito is, because I had no fucking clue. Like I said, I had to look up how to pronounce it. It's apparently a traditional Christmas drink from Peru. It's, I guess, somewhat similar to eggnog here in the United States, and it's usually alcoholic. This is obviously a interpretation of that. But let's give it a go. And I should mention, because as this is a local spot, it is going to end up on my Sampler Platter Local Love playlist. That playlist is just for local locations that, try to highlight a little bit. Let's give it a go. And I got it warm. Ooh. Okay. I don't think, again, I do not recall if they said or not, so again, it could be entirely on me. If they did put milk in this, I do not think that they used whole milk. I'm guessing it's something else, because it feels a little bit light to be whole milk. But it is still super tasty. Kind of interesting. Like, I can sort of see, I've never had, like, obviously the actual drink. Maybe I will at some point. I'd love to try it out. The actual Coquito. So I can't say exactly how close or dissimilar this is. I would imagine it's probably not super close. But I am glad that I looked up the description of what this thing was, or what it's supposed to be rather, because, it does kind of give you certain notes where it's like, okay, when they say like, oh, it's kind of like an eggnog sort of thing. Okay, I can kind of get a little bit of what that's going with. Some of the spices and everything. There's like a little bit of a... It's really interesting. There's... I don't know, I was going to say there's like a cinnamony aspect, but maybe not. Yeah, it's really interesting. Huh. It's one of those things, as I'm drinking more of it, I'm kind of getting different flavors. It's very smooth. It's a nice, creamy drink. Um, Anybody who watches my channel, I review coffee-related things. I'm not a big coffee person, so like I like coffee-adjacent stuff, basically cram enough stuff in there that it doesn't taste too much like coffee. This works in that capacity and actually works really nicely because it's not trying to just be a dessert drink. It's not just trying to be sweet and, nothing else. You can still taste like the espresso and the coffee aspect of it. It has a little sort of wistful bitterness kind of at the end that I personally actually like in this regard, because even though bitter is not my favorite, kind of flavor, contrasting flavors I'm a big fan of. And the rest of this I definitely wouldn't say is sweet, but it's like a very, very, very mild sweetness. And then you just have like a lot of like little things kind of peppered throughout. And then at the very end, you get that sort of tail end of the espresso, just that tiny little bit of bitterness. As for the flavors themselves, it's one of those things I'm surprised, honestly, because like given, all the stuff that's in it, I would expect to be tasting more of those things like in greater capacity. But okay, it's one of those things you got to kind of search for it a little bit. I could say, the one thing I was a little bit worried about was the coconut, because I'm not a big coconut guy, but it's definitely not like a coconut flavored drink. There is a little bit of something along the lines of a coconut, but it almost just kind of gives it like almost kind of like oaty vibes. Like it's not, it doesn't have like that heavy coconut flavor. And then the other thing I was kind of expecting more of was the maple syrup. Which I'm guessing is where maybe like the sort of the earthiness of the whole thing is coming from. Like it has it's a very soft drink. It's very smooth, but it has a lot of earthiness to it, which is interesting. It's not what I was expecting, And it's one of the things I have to give Brewpoint a lot of credit for. And I mentioned this in my other reviews. Like you can taste the quality. Like even though again it's kind of interesting for what I was expecting. Like, you can taste that it's good coffee, you can taste that it was made well, and you can taste that, and I think that's kind of the difference between it and something like Starbucks, where Starbucks is going to go heavy on whatever additives they're adding into it, and it kind of works in that capacity, whereas I think with Brewpoint, they're maybe a little bit lighter on their stuff, kind of let you enjoy the coffee flavor a little bit more, while still giving you, like, a really nice experience, and that's definitely been achieved in this regard. I do like the drink overall. I think it's really nice. As somebody who's not a big coffee guy, I can kind of get down with this. I will say out of the 3 things that I've had from them now, and again, these are all off their winter menu, this is the one that is probably the least impressive for me. The chai, I absolutely love. The peppermint mocha, I thought was fantastic. This one, I like it. It's good. But I don't know if I'm really fully appreciating it, like the way that I want to, But it is, I will say, I do think it is a very nice holiday drink. It definitely feels nice and warm and cozy, as it said. I just think this is one of those instances where maybe just amping up those flavors a little bit, especially if you're trying to mirror something that I guess is supposed to be kind of almost like an eggnog. I think that, again, just amping those up just a little bit. Still keep the taste of the coffee and everything, but just give it a little something extra. But it is still nice. I like it. It will definitely help me this morning. I have a bunch of shit to do. Anyway, Two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? For me personally, yes, with a caveat, and then sort of again, yes, with a caveat. For me, would I get it again? Potentially, but it would be to try it again. And were I in that situation where we're trying it again, for one thing, I would specifically request whole milk. I don't know if I got whole milk or not, but I would specifically request it because I think maybe that would, kind of boost it up a little bit, give it a little extra weight. But it's one of those things where it's like I could see this being really good. And I'm not saying that it was prepared poorly or anything like that. I don't know. This is the first time I've had it. But it's one of those things where it's like, I want this to be exceptionally good, so I would be willing to give it another shot at some point and, kind of compare and contrast if it's basically the same or a little bit different. And if I'm recommending it, I would still recommend it. It's still a good drink. Again, it's just one of those things where it's like, plus you have the namesake aspect to it, which kind of, I think it's good, but I do think there's better stuff that I've personally had from their menu. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month. Spend this rest of your folks. Go over there, have yourselves a truly Puerto Rican Christmas-tastic rest of your life, I guess. I could have done this as a Christmas special episode, but I didn't. But to the fine people of Puerto Rico, hopefully at some point I'll get the opportunity to try your actual Christmas tree. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. But, at the end of the day, I always try to keep a positive outlook on the reviews that I do and stuff. And hopefully I'm usually successful in that regard. But, hey, man, life can be stressful and frustrating. And take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe you're going to go over there. Maybe you've had the actual drink, the Coquito, and maybe you can go over there and give me some insight on it and be like, Brandon, it's this and this and this and this. Because I don't know. I've reviewed Colombian food and Peruvian food and Filipino food and Ethiopian food. I don't think I've done full-on Puerto Rican, so I might have to look that up and see if there's places available that kind of specialize in that. But let me know. Is it something that I should go for, or, or regardless, just hopefully whatever particular food or drinks you enjoy, you're enjoying them, whether it's in the holiday season or not. Sure. Bye.